Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream, the podcast, and of course the Portugal Club, where we'll go for Portuguese citizenship test question 81 this morning. That's what we've got lined up for you over there, and a few other treats actually. What's the most expensive home comfort you've ever purchased? After shocking news of the price of a box of Quality Street spotted in the Algarve yesterday by our friend Paul Richards. Quite extraordinary. Now, we're used to spending a little bit more, a bit of a premium on those things, especially from the UK with a bit of importation tax. But my God, there's eye-watering amount of money for a box of Quality Street. And they're not even that good. It's not even a tin anymore. It's a plastic tub. And a lot of them, let's face it, with an assortment box, you don't even like anyway. How are you doing this morning? Do let me know, perhaps whether you would pay an extortionate amount for something you love from home or not, or if you're happy with a pastel de nata from the supermarket and a cup of coffee from, what, 150 or something along those lines. I see we haven't got the T-Duck with us this morning. He's off on an errand, so I'm going to rely on you for the right sound. Make sure the sound's okay. It's not echoey and tinny. It's rich and fruity this morning. So do let me know if everything is looking okay. We're still at the Serra da Estrela mountain range where there's snow. Those, what are they? I think they're listening posts or satellite domes or something along those lines. They will be dusted with snow. If you've been up there and you've got a photo for us, I posted a few more pictures of the snow. Beautiful to see snow arriving, or a winter arriving with traditional snow. So who knows? Some people, it may well be that some people have snow for Christmas here in Portugal. One day away from the big Portuguese celebration of Christmas Eve, of course. And then I guess for others who celebrate on the 25th itself, the Portuguese do that as well, don't they? But the main event is the Cansoado on the Christmas Eve night, which will be tomorrow evening, and then a day off on the 25th, and then back to work, everybody, on the 26th of December. A few days, the what's it called, the festive perineum, the bit in between before New Year's Eve. Thank you, Gemini, for that sound check, much appreciated. Right, who's in this morning? T-Duck did pop in to say hello. Excellent, thank you for that, T-Duck. Bon dia, alegria, gumpers, and bon dia, gumpers. Hope everyone is well and ready for Christmas. Wow, I saw a bit of canal footage yesterday. A bit of canal disappeared. You don't expect a sinkhole on a canal, do you, Welsh Jackie? T-Duck's early errand this morning. See ya amanhã for the last show before Christmas tomorrow morning. We'll hang out and have a bit of fun tomorrow. Mel's here as well. There was a lovely picture I saw of you and your gang going to see the ballet. I guess for gang behaviour, it's not traditional to go see the ballet, but you look like you had a lovely time with your homies there, Mel. And perhaps we'll have a quick chat with you tomorrow. If anyone wants to jump on tomorrow to wish Christmas greetings, how about that? I'll put the link on the screen tomorrow and jump on, say a happy Christmas to whoever you want to say happy Christmas to, and a prosperous new year, or whichever greeting you use. Come and do that tomorrow on screen. On screen this morning, we've got Jeremy College, he of Quantum Qigong. I want to talk to Jeremy about initiating a year of flexibility, coherence, authenticity, all those lovely keywords. And I think it begins in the body. Now, it's possible to go to the gym and be a rippling hunk. Probably, if you look at some of the adverts on the internet, I can probably do that by about, the 15th, 16th of January, if I just sit in a chair and do some chair yoga. However, that to a great extent has been replaced by Tai Chi adverts. It's not Tai Chi Jeremy does. He has done some Tai Chi in the past. He is a Qigong man, not a million miles away, but it is different. And I'll be talking to him at around 20 past this morning to see what sort of habits I can get into for the new year, starting in the new year. I'm not making it a resolution. I'm just using it as the page turns as an opportunity to do something, to do some daily exercise that will help me remain flexible. I like to think of myself as fairly flexible, but my recent bad back, where I couldn't put my own underpants on, was a pitiful position to be in. Although you find out who your friends are in that sort of situation. But this morning, for example, I'm pretty much 95% back to previous fitness of being able to bend down and do my shoelaces up or pick something off the floor without going, ah! So that was a brilliant wake-up call. And we've got a page-turning event of 25 into 26 where if you want to join us, Jeremy very kindly makes videos and runs classes on Zoom. So you don't have to come all the way to San Martino de Porto at 5 o'clock every morning to do Qigong on the beach. He'll tell us what the regime might be. But I think it just looks, ever since I saw my Asian grandmother doing Tai Chi first thing in the morning, I don't know if it was Tai Chi. It looked like Tai Chi she was doing, but she was doing some gentle movement every morning. And all the elements were there, I can tell you. She'd be swaying and moving gently, and sometimes the element of wind would appear as well. Unfortunately, she had a hearing aid, so she wasn't aware of any such turbulence and disruptions. But it was lovely to see. It was lovely to see. It was poetry in motion. Her early morning movements. And which means something entirely different in the Western world, doesn't it? Good movement first thing in the morning is very different in Western Europe than I think it might be seen in the Far East. Anyway, more about Qigong at 8:20 this morning. Better get a move on. He's going to be here soon. And also, another guest a little bit later on this morning. Stephen will be here. Stephen's going to, I don't know if you remember, Josh, my pal Josh, the guy who had the idea really to start up the men's shed here in San Martino de Porto, ukulele player and a great lad. He has a friend called Stephen Schuach, who is building something called Digital Life Concierge. Do you remember I mentioned this? Basically helping expats and retirees get their digital lives under control. Is your digital life out of control? It can feel like it sometimes, can't it, when you're hastily trying to two-factor or authenticate yourself, which sounds really painful when I put it like that. And you're not sure if you've got the password right. The number's coming in on a device that's in another part of the house or has been left in America. All that sort of stuff, passwords, subscriptions, devices, cloud storage, etc., etc. It's superhuman focused and calm, not tech bro stuff that he talks about. And he's offering a 1-hour audit. I think that's a free offer for the likes of us, I think, who might get a bit overwhelmed. And I know that, you know, that there's an exception that proves the rule. There'll be people like Pete Bleach, who's with his Apple gear, never has a problem with security, knows exactly what his passwords. He's got, he can remember a 24 character password off the top of his head. Never a problem. But this might be for people who feel overwhelmed by their tech, i.e. they print every page for IMA, then scan it with their printer, then can't figure out how to shrink it to 2 megabytes, or their password is password. Looking forward to speaking to Stephen later on in the show. Let's pop over quickly to the Portugal Club. And actually, we've got a few more hellos because I see other friends who aren't ordinarily with us. Might be a festive thing. Gemini's in. Might be a festive thing that we've got a few more friends in this morning. Look at that. My bathroom breaks are lining up with the show again. This is a thing. John Heimbach does this as well in the US when he's over there. He checks in with us whilst he is, attending to the elements. Not wind this time, but water, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of wind. But you go ahead, Alan. We can't hear you yet in this age of high technology, thankfully. I went in Foodco to buy tea bags 160 euros later. But did you buy the 44 euro Quality Street, Colin? I imagine you stalled at that level of Christmas spending. It is the traditional chocolate of Christmas. Although I think we've had this conversation. You went for Roses, and I prefer those. They've got the little bar of Cadbury's chocolate in. Cadbury's better than whoever makes. Is it Roundtree that make Quality Street? But it's probably not any of them now, is it? It's all American chocolate. Bon dia, everyone. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you here this morning without an invitation. Bon dia, Carlos. We were invited into our landlord's house downstairs last night. That's a thing. Downstairs at a Portuguese family's house where they have set it aside for entertaining is extraordinary. I've been in such a scenario, Hendog. Henry. And I would like to show pictures of the delightful cheese this morning as well that you gifted me very kindly, and your olive oil. And it all pairs very nicely with today's or this week's wine of the week. It was actually wine of the week last week. That's when I started drinking it anyway. But I didn't get round to actually advertising the fact that's what we that was with the wine of the week, that was, as it were, but it is now the wine of this week as well. Select folder. Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put it in untitled design. You don't need to know that, but that's maybe I need Stephen's help with all of this. Oh, that's a good idea, isn't it? Get him to help me with my back office. Nobody should have to go there, especially first thing in the morning. Right. Untitled designs. There they are. That's not as difficult as I imagined. Right. Opening up 3 images. Oh, yes, I am. Shift and then the arrow keys, and you can do all of that. Fantastic. Right. So you're in the cellar. The cellar makes it sound much worse than basement, doesn't it? Or downstairs, you call it, to celebrate their 51st wedding anniversary with them and their family. Much pork was consumed and cheese and cakes. That is lovely, isn't it? Some Portuguese hospitality. And you may well have taken your very own extra virgin olive oil, the Queen and Convict brand, no less. And I saw a bottle of this pop up in the UK. There's someone boasting about this in Devon, UK, Henry. I drizzled, of course. Maybe the qigong can do something about that. Pelvic floor. No, nothing to do with pelvic floor. Drizzling on this occasion, extra virgin olive oil over those. Oh, those tomatoes are lovely. Coarse rock salt, sea salt, a few herbs, Italian herbs, dried, unfortunately, but they did give it a nice flavor, and a splash of your extra virgin olive oil, which is delicious. Thank you so much. Not only, but also some of this goat cheese from up the road. We've seen the video on Good Morning Portugal of those goats grazing in Henry and Nina's garden, and that is the cheese that I've had this morning for breakfast that comes from those goats down the end of the street. You know you're in rural central Portugal when you can buy cheese from the goat herder whose goats were herded through your garden that year. Isn't that fantastic? And it was delicious. Queijo de Cabril. Yes, it's the Cabril Lake Cabril. Cabra is goat as well, isn't it? Is that Goat Lake then? I suppose it is, isn't it? Queijo de Cabril. Delicious. Thank you very much. Get hold of some of that if you can. I imagine there'll be a bigger run next year when there are a few more olives available, but that is prime quality olive oil. And I'd see adverts now in the men's shed, for example, with olive oil is on sale now, isn't it? All the producers, all the local producers, not the supermarket ones, who've got a nice batch of olive oil. They've made sure they've provisioned themselves and their families and their friends correctly. And any surplus is now being sold on the networks, WhatsApp, and in bars and cafes all across Portugal. Fantastic. Well, what a lovely bit of hospitality that is to report there, Hen Dog. Back to bed. Felicia Nutella for a nice one. Alan, feel better now? The canal breach is awful, but sadly these happen every year. Total lack of maintenance in non-tourist areas. Morning, Jeremy. Because these problems, sadly... Oh, it's a cliffhanger. We'll come back to that. Bom dia alegria a todos e feliz terça-feira from Matty. I was thinking, Carl, how can you help in Portugal just by doing exactly what you do? Keep the conversation going. Thank you. Oh, that's nice. That's fairly easy for me as well. Here every morning. Didn't miss a beat, did we? There were holidays. No, we didn't go. We didn't stay off for a holiday anytime this year. I had a bad back, but I still hauled myself to this seat. So yeah, it was lovely to be here all year, and I hope to do the same next year. And for as long as I've got a microphone in front of me and can be hauled into this chair, I'll keep doing this. Happy to keep the conversation going. It's holding a space, isn't it, as hippies say? And who knows where that conversation might lead us in the years to come. Baked beans, yoga pants, and pensioners are never a good combo. Speaking from experience, Pete, brings a new meaning to May the Force be with you. Oh, Peter. So you and Carissa and baby Jack yesterday, says Pete, that it was lovely. They're all in fine form. Shout out to them, whoever they are, this morning. Good news. Yes, a bit of a chat going on between Pete and Matty. They will send us some. Okay, come on. We're trying to have a radio show here. You know, you guys can private message each other on the Portugal Club as well. Then you don't have to take up valuable comment space on the screen here. Nala's back, though. Went off my property Friday 3 times, did not return. I went out to search her and found her tied to a tree at a neighbour's land. That's a very thoughtful thing to do, isn't it? I guess in case people don't know if she's a sheep warrior or not, as in a sheep killer. So tying her up to a tree so that she can be found, presumably in the shade, is a good neighbourly thing to do. Fantastic. Make sure your neighbours have got your number should you need that service. Mike, good morning to you. Excellent. Someone with sciatica. You can tell something about the general demographic. Oh, me sciaticas. How's your lumbago? All right, Matty and Pete continuing to have a conversation at our expense in the comments there. You sign up at the Portugal Club, then you can private message each other. Or maybe you're sort of what are you called? It's the live stream equivalent of dogging, isn't it? It's like just having this out in open, your private conversation. Let's keep it at conversation, by the way. Right, okay. Morning, Mike, Karen, and family over in Miranda de Corvo. Have you been for a free ride on that bus yet? Are you going to send me a video? A quick Portuguese citizenship test question then before Jeremy joins us to talk about installing some flexible habits or some habitual movement and exercise and a lifestyle change, really. Let's call it that, because whenever you mention things like diet, exercise, regime, routine, it tends to go straight into the pain centers of the memory, doesn't it? And you do it for a little while, and you'll associate it with struggle, and it won't last. Whereas with Jeremy, we might be able to find a more positive way of positioning that. No, we're not. And create lifetime habits in the way that he has. Harsh discipline in a Jordan Peterson style, probably. And make sure you make your bed, you lazy so-and-sos. All right, some tough talk possibly then from Jeremy. Very quickly, though, before we go to him, let's go to the Portugal Club and look at the Portuguese citizenship test question 81. What treaty divided the new world between Portugal and Spain in 1494? The EU has changed a little bit. It used to be just Spain and Portugal deciding which bits of the whole world pretty much that they wanted. Was it the Treaty of Tordesillas? Not to be confused with the Treaty of Tordesillas, where I think some nachos they were divided up who was going to eat which bit of the nachos in the Mexican feast. This is the Treaty of Tordesillas. Is it A, Tordesillas? Is it B, the Treaty of Alcacelvas? Or is it the Treaty of Lisbon? I don't know the answer. I'm going to guess B, though. Yesterday, of course, was Luís de Camões. The day before was the Carnation Revolution. Although you could be forgiven, as our friendly mortgage expert who moves among us at the Portugal Club called it the April Revolution. It could be, couldn't it? But most people know it as the Carnation Revolution, I would say. I'm going to go for Treaty of Alcacelvas today for the treaty that divided the New World, all of it, between Portugal and Spain in 1494. It's not that long ago, really, is it, when you think about it, when such a broad stroke was possible. Now it's the micromanagement of borders, isn't it, and proxy wars and all sorts of crazy stuff that we're dealing with. I'm not saying it's better or worse. I'm just saying it's different. Right. A couple more comments in before we welcome Jeremy. He likes a warm hand on his opening, so we'll make sure he has one when he joins us in just a moment. Ewan's sciatica. Oh, the coach is here now. Bon dia, Gumpers. Coach might want to cross-reference with a bit of Qigong as well. Coaching this evening with a couple of athletes, but worryingly, they want me to train with them. I mean, it may not be. It's all right. I'll just sit here. With can you not just get a bicycle, Rocky style, and a megaphone and just walk alongside them? I may not be on my best form tomorrow morning. Go on, stretch before or not. Is stretching a yay or a nay at the moment? We took the Metrobus on Saturday. It was London tube packed. I think everyone was Capricorn Chris on there. That would have been hilarious. I think everyone is taking advantage of the free rides. Who doesn't? Carl, they have a YouTube channel. Oh, Frankie Off Grid. I've heard of them, definitely. And good for you. At least it didn't break down. Our bus got smashed I nearly said right-wing mirror, which, of course, in the Algarve will be a far right-wing mirror, or the Alentejo, is it? And a 15-minute stop on the motorway on Sunday. And someone, Paul, saying, hi, Cad. Well, you can call me that. We know each other well enough. And it was Paul who gave me that information. That's what I'm going to ask Jeremy, actually, when he joins us, because I don't want to keep him waiting any longer. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Did he buy Quality Street at 44 euros? Hola, bon dia. Tudo bem?
Good morning.
How are you, Jeremy? Tudo bem?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you, Carl?
I'm well, having a bit of a giggle this morning about how
You're
actually
covering many subjects I see, especially.
Yes, it's a broad reach this morning, isn't it?
I know. I think you just likened your online community to online dogging or something. That's very weird.
I did not. I did actually. I don't think anyone noticed, but yeah, clearly they did. It's at times like these it's best to move on, isn't it, rather than try and dig a deeper hole. Would you recommend?
Correct.
Okay, let's back up the truck out of that cul-de-sac of difficulty. You were. I don't think you are locally. You aren't local with me this morning in San Martino de Portugal. On a world tour at the moment.
I am on a world tour at the moment.
All
yes,
right.
I've just been to Germany, then to Milan, then to Mexico, 4 or 5 different cities, and then
like you do.
Briefly into Lisbon, and then flew out the next day from Lisbon. And the beauty of EasyJet, they gave me a 7-hour delay in Lisbon Airport. Bless them.
Oh no, that's a pretty poor predicament, isn't it? I mean,
that was just basically no plane.
Yes, I mean, so people are going to think around the world that Lisbon means in Portuguese long waits because it's now synonymous for one reason or another, isn't it?
It is. I mean, it's extraordinary. I've never had someone just say, your 4 o'clock plane will be coming at 11 p.m. Oh, great. Thank you.
Here's a voucher for €1.50.
No, they were very kind, actually. They gave me an €18 food voucher, which wasn't cashable in any of the kiosks where I was sitting.
It's for sale on eBay.
They could have given me a €5,000 voucher. It still wouldn't have mattered.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Where is it cashable?
In the other part of the airport, you have to go back through security to get there.
Sorry to laugh, but that's a certain human plan. Yes, very good. Didn't cost them a penny, did it, in the end? And not enough, not enough, sadly. Here, Jeremy, I'm going to blow this up. I was asking the question, thanks to Paul, who sent this picture in from Apollonia. I was in there a few days ago, actually, having a breakfast, which wasn't too expensive, to be fair. Oh, and I did besmirch this idea. I thought it was just one of those plastic tubs. That's the one on the left. But if you want a traditional tin of Quality Street from Apollonia, in the Algarve, it's going to cost you €44 and a bit of change. Not even your massive non-redeemable voucher would have covered that. Would you pay that much for a box of chocolate, Jeremy? Would anyone else here this morning?
No, I'm sorry. I have to say I'm a bit sort of prissy about these things these days. Only dark chocolate.
Oh, I see. So it's not that you wouldn't pay a lot of money for chocolate. You just wouldn't pay a lot of money for that sort of rubbish.
Exactly.
And some of those dark chocolates are expensive, aren't they?
God, yeah, they've gone up in price as well. But yes, no, that's a kind of one of the useful things I find is that keeping away from sugar at this time of year, and I'm not very good at it because, of course, living in Portugal is there's such fantastic sugar around; it's unbelievable. That it makes it very, very difficult. But yeah, I mean, I'm on a sort of a weight loss kick for the last couple of years, and I can't afford to get involved in a big tub of Quality Street.
Get involved. Well, you kind of do, don't you? By Christmas evening, that box is empty, and the worst ones are there, and you think, well, sod it, I'm going to eat them. They cost me €44. I'm going to eat these coffee creams anyway, even if they are disgusting.
There used to be a kind of like a sort of an odd-shaped hexagonal green one that was kind of I can't remember what is even in there. It may have some nut chips in it or something like that. I don't think they make it anymore. I don't think they make it anymore, but it was guaranteed to be at the bottom of the bin when you were finished.
It looks like something, and they had the textures of something that fell in the cat litter tray and got rolled around for a bit, right, and then covered in chocolate.
That's it. So that was the last one in the bottom of the bin normally.
Among all the empty wrappers, right? Because there's always someone in the family who insists on putting their empty wrappers in there, giving the misleading impression there's loads of chocolates left. There's only one of those that you mentioned there. You think
there's sort of a rustle left in the box, but not much. This is kind of like a sort of a rather unpleasant lucky dip, isn't it?
It is. So you can keep your €44 box of chocks, I think, there. And the dark, we will talk about Qigong, I promise you. But dark chocolate, I've seen these, these, ever since Innocent had food talk to you, like, oh, I'm an organic fruit mashed up 1,000 times with my buddies in this bottle. The expensive chocolate people do that as well, don't they? It's like, or they speak to you from the packet. We ever since we went to Machu Picchu or it's ever since my great grandfather went to Machu Picchu and found the cacao beans that had been passed through a civet digestive system and then roasted atop an Aztec temple. And there's a massive backstory of a fantastic chocolate which would cost you £6 a bar or something. Is that the sort of league you?
Every single word puts the price up, doesn't it?
Yes, I had not noticed that law of advertising, but you're absolutely right.
Dark chocolate is €3, and then dark chocolate with a story is €6.
It's so true. Anyway, I'm guessing it's all part of the changing consciousness of a Qigong aficionado to be elevating himself from cheap, awful chocolate that is now made by the Americans. I mean, I don't need to say any more on the subject. And you now eat a much more discerning style and brand of chocolate because you're moving in a different world. We heard a wonderful backstory of how you got into Qigong in the first place in earlier episodes. And today, it is now your lifelong devotion and practice. And today I would love to talk to you about how it can possibly be the annual devotion for others as we go into a new year. Let's not talk about diets and resolutions and things that kill the mood, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially for someone like me who had a terrible backache and a wake-up call thinking, I do need to strengthen my back. I do want to remain flexible. And I can't just trade on everything that I've done so far in my life. I need to be a little bit more conscious and a bit more of a concerted effort. Would Qigong be a good choice for somebody in that position?
Yes, absolutely. I think that's the point entirely. So a couple of things pop up immediately. The first thing that sort of pops up is the fact that we now have found a way to extend our lives dramatically. We used to die in our 60s, we're now dying in our 90s. But the problem with that is that what we haven't managed to do is extend the quality of our lives.
Well said.
And so, you can find yourself sitting for the last 20 years of your life taking, I mean, my father-in-law, bless him, he used to take something. He had like an advent calendar of different drugs to take every single day. Pop open 20 windows.
Yes, it's true. That's why advent calendars aren't so special anymore, because a lot of oldies are doing it every morning, aren't they?
That's right. It was rather sad, and he literally had to take a sort of a card of kind of drugs with him wherever he went. And I don't know. I mean, I had the conversation with him at that stage. Unfortunately, he'd gone into a sort of cancer state, but he was saying things like, well, I have to take this one for the cancer, but I have to take this one to stop me getting sick from taking this pill. And it was kind of like a whole sort of like, layer of things. I have to take this one because this one affects how my kidneys work. So I have to take this one to make my kidneys work better. It's this kind of horrible, kind of juggling, thing that his doctors had got into to see what they could do to keep him going.
Yeah.
And I mean, he lived for several years like that in this extraordinary regime. And his body, you could see, was just getting, more and more filled with the toxins. His skin, you could see it coming out in rashes and things like that. We're just not made to kind of go for these chemical experiments. And so it's much better if we can actually try and find a way to just to try and keep ourselves living on a healthy basis without having to rely upon Western chemicals. I mean, there's a story doing the rounds. There's a university, which may have been Brown in the States, that they've done a study, and their suggestion was that statins, which are supposed to lower our blood cholesterol, that statins were also responsible for the rise in dementia.
Yep.
Every single person in the world, when they hit the age of 60, is told, take statins. They just say it. It's just a kind of like a thing they say. Your blood pressure level is 4.2. It should be 3.8. Start taking statins. And the suggestion is that what we're doing there is we're taking away lots of fats in our body, and that's kind of, the idea is to remove the fats in the body. But what they're now saying is that they suggest that all the fats that are needed in your brain, and that's why we're told to take fish oils and eat walnuts and things like that. The fats in your brain are also being taken away, and that's why people are losing the ability to, their cognizance. And if that's true, I mean, it's like the massive rise in dementia. We're all sort of saying, oh, why is everybody getting dementia?
Why is that? Yeah.
That's right. And I think the only, it's one of these hockey stick curves where it goes along and it goes up dramatically, dementia. And if you add the kind of rise in statins over they seem to match each other beautifully. This was the theory that this university was putting together. You'd have to do your own research work into it. I'm not saying don't take statins, but I'm just saying that there are other interventions that we can do in our lives.
It's very interesting. Statins are dreadful, not medical advice. It's interesting how people, even just stating an opinion, have to issue a disclaimer as well. I mean, surely there's enough flipping evidence for people to be able to say things like that. I mean, it just beggars belief, really, that people are so polite and careful about this when it looks like a massive crime. It's not as if the pharmaceutical companies haven't got form for completely destroying people's lives with their overly marketed products, is it? Sorry, what's that? It's true, though, isn't it? I mean, if you watch the movie about the opiates, is it in North America, Purdue? Was that the company? That I don't know. I'm getting myself in all sorts of potential trouble here. But there are
to move to Cayman Islands to keep broadcasting.
Yes, but I don't have a pharmaceutical budget for such a thing. But anyway. Yes, thank you for your kind advice to calm down there, because that's probably not going to be very good for me either, is it?
No.
My brain fats will be boiling at this rate. So let's get back to qigong. So many good options via healthy eating anyway to statins.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that so of the sort of three? I used to have three pillars of good health, but actually I've added 4 to it now. I'll see if I can remember what they are.
It's not statins, though, is it? It's not statins. I'm sure.
It's not statins. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, there's this that I was going to say caller, as that writer,
correspondent.
Correspondent, very good, said. Yeah, healthy eating, really, really important. I think that's it. There's so much complexity put into our diet these days. There's so much complexity put into our environment. So just the fact that, everything you wash up with, everything you put in your washing machine, everything you put on your skin has a new toxic load of extraordinary kind of like chemicals that we've never used before. So that's why I try to only use kind of organic shampoo and organic, dishwashing stuff, organic stuff that goes in your washing machine. That puts the price of everything up, but it's going to add some longevity to you, because what we're trying to do there is stay away from the complexity of chemicals in our lives. So don't have air fresheners blowing God knows what into the air. Don't be using washing machine stuff that's on your skin and on your sheets. So I try to stay away from the chemical complexity, but also what you put in your mouth is really important. If you're eating a simple diet, what we hear about the longevity of the Mediterranean diet. Yeah, absolutely. And the reason for that is people are just eating olives, and they're just eating vegetables, and they're eating a bit of fish, and they're eating a bit of meat, and they have a completely balanced diet, and it tends to be fresh food. And so that's the first thing: fresh food, and clean your house up, with of the toxic chemicals. And then suddenly the load on your body, we call that stress as well. The load on your body's gone right down. You've already sort of taken a lot of stressors out of your life.
This is a cheeky stuff. Look at it. What about shampoo? It must be a cost saving for you guys, Peter. We'll get him back later on, Jeremy.
That's really cheeky. That's right. I pride myself in keeping this.
That's right. The shampoo lasts a long time in this house. So, yeah, joke's on you, Peter. And that's a great place to start, isn't it? And why not do that as the page turns for the new year? Have a look at all the bloody toxic crap that you've got around you, and maybe simplify it a little bit. And more fresh food. And we've got a good head start here in Portugal, let's face it, with the market.
Really, that is true. Absolutely. I mean, it's very, very easy to eat well in Portugal. Yeah. And so the second thing is, for me, nature. I think nature, and we're so blessed in Portugal with that as well, especially San Martino. It's spending time outside in nature, So an awful lot of people, find themselves living in the cities. The city is just natural stress anyway, just the sort of competition. So I'm here in London today. The competition for resources is bizarre. You're constantly fighting to get onto every train, onto every tube, onto every bus. You're fighting for every molecule of oxygen. So I think the second really most healing thing is being in nature. It's giving yourself an hour every day just to walk outside. Doesn't matter if it's raining or not. Just get out of the door, walk around, the little town that we live in, but try and walk out into nature. Really, really important. And that's got encoded in it 7,000 steps, an hour's walking. Try and do that.
Okay.
That's fundamentally incredibly good for you.
That's a good frame, though, isn't it? An hour's walking in nature does sound better than 7,000 steps, but it's pretty much the same thing you're suggesting.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I mean, depending on your fitness, but an hour's walk in nature is a really, really good thing to do. The third thing for me is what I call mental hygiene, and I won't go into that too much depth today. But the idea is that I think it's Socrates who said, "A life unexamined is a life not worth living."
Yes.
And so,
yes.
I think it's really important to look at the things that trigger you. What upsets you. Do you find yourself shouting at the TV every day? Do you find yourself shouting at the other drivers? Do you find yourself upset by the certain person upsets you all the time? Are you constantly cross about this? Are you constantly sad about that? Just those things. I mean, if what you're doing is just saying, my dad died 20 years ago. I'm still holding it deep inside. I've never really got around to thinking about it. I just pack it away. And when I pick up something, I pick up a book and I see that it belonged to my dad, I get this huge sort of, upset, and it upsets me for hours and can make my whole day upset. Time to look at that. It's time to figure out, what the toxins are inside your body and what your brain is doing to make them.
Yeah, well said. Well said. And on the other side of it, I mean, it seems like there's a global intelligence test going on at the moment with the way that our media works and news, and the gauntlet that you describe of being triggered and upset by things is a sort of epidemic proportion at the moment. But it's good practice, isn't it? Because I think all of it is a massive projection screen, and whilst it looks like erudite discussion and debate about political issues, so much of it is just Velcro for unresolved emotional issues. So again, another chance to take a look at it.
It is. Everything that makes you feel an emotion is a trigger to ask yourself why. So
Very
that's it.
good. Okay.
It is. So wow. Okay. So now I'm just going to look on my computer without seeing if I can disconnect you or whatever. For this, for a sticky note I have somewhere in the background here.
I see. That's very clever. Now, Stephen will be joining us soon to talk about cleaning up your digital environment and making it a little bit more user-friendly and less stressful. This ties in beautifully. So, Stephen, hang about where you are, and we will chat with you in a moment. We're looking at the sort of bigger picture, in a way, of our whole lives. And I think the digital piece of that is an important thing to address to reduce the stress there as well. So looking forward to speaking to you. And Jeremy may have found his... This is the sort of thing Stephen helps you deal with. I think. Have you lost a digital Post-it note on your many open tabs and screens?
No, I found it.
Oh, good man, good man.
Excuse me. It was a guy who I really rate, who's a sort of he's a coach for top business people and things like that. But he started off with the Heart Math Organization, which is a really interesting organization. But he says, I've got a little quote from Dr. Alan Watkins. He refers to this phrase that somebody else has quoted, which says, dysregulated emotions are the superhighway to all disease of modern society.
Oh my word. Yeah. Boom.
Dysregulated emotions are the superhighway to all disease of modern society. So that's it. So that's the third step of it, is definitely start to look at the emotional state inside. And I know that a lot of your listeners probably come from South Africa, from Australia, places like that, where men are men, and we don't like to look at those kind of things. And I lived in South Africa for 4 or 5 years, and I know that it's a very sort of strong society where the men have to be the most powerful. But actually, what that it does is that it means you end up not tending not to look at yourself. So that's a sweeping generalization. Apologies all.
Well, okay, and if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fair enough. But what can be said, and I found this helpful. I wouldn't describe myself as in any way a macho man from a tough culture. But what I do know is I do recognize some of the things you're talking about of, carrying persistent triggers and, things that are unresolved, as all humans have. And coming to Portugal at least gives you the chance. If you change your life for a more quiet way of life, you suddenly have, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because on the one hand, you're thinking, oh, I like this quiet, calm lifestyle. But what happens in the quiet, calm lifestyle is those things can come up for air finally, can't they? And you think, hold on a minute, I'm meant to be relaxed. And like something's really peeing me off, like the driver that's driving too close behind me, or something else and something else. But haven't we got this beautiful opportunity to look at that the very sort of thing you're talking about in this quieter mind that might be emerging?
Yeah, very much so. The driver driving too close behind you, that's an unusual thought in Portugal, isn't it?
Yeah, for instance, I'm not saying, and for anyone who's suddenly shouted at the screen, "What triggering emotions? I don't have triggering emotions." That's probably a little cue, isn't it, as well?
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
yeah. I think you're quite right. Portugal really is a great place to bring up these stories. And actually, my daughter is a case in point, bless her. Her and her partner, they moved to Portugal to start up a new life. And within a year or so, they decided that their new life was not together. They found that space. And so they gently just demerged, and they have a very, very good life these days, living both of them in Brighton, co-parenting, but not together. And
it can happen.
Yeah, Portugal was what taught them that. It was really interesting. So
how incredible! How incredible!
It is.
I'd love. May I bring Stephen onto the screen, because Stephen is nodding a lot with what we're saying. I think he might want to join this conversation, and we can segue beautifully into the idea that Stephen wants to share with us and the offer that he's got. But is that okay with you, Jeremy? Because I would also like to make this something of a program for the new year, if possible. That what we're talking about, because the community and the sense of continuity is important as well. It's easy to well, not easy necessarily, but it's easier to recognize these ideas and say, yeah, absolutely, right on, Jeremy. But if we can have some continuity with this, I'd love that as well in the new year.
Okay, so could I just mention the fourth leg of my
go for your fourth leg, and then we'll bring Stephen on. Yeah,
exactly, that's perfect. So the fourth part of that is doing exercise, doing qigong.
All
so
right.
the reason I suggest doing qigong is because it's been designed to work every single aspect of your body. It's very different to yoga, very different to Pilates, in that it tends to compress your body and compress your muscles and then let them relax. Whereas the other things are all about stretching your muscles as much as you can. So it works much better for people. I didn't see that. It works much better for people, I find, who are, in their 50s and 60s. You don't have to get down on a mat. You don't have to dress in Lycra. You don't have to use machines and things like that. You can just be standing in your living room to do Qigong. So hopefully at some stage, Carl, you might be able to share a link on my website. I've got what I call... Lovely, thanks. On my website, I've got, on my YouTube channel, I've got a thing which is just a 15-minute warm-up exercise. And basically, it's just 3 very simple exercises. One of them, you turn your waist. One of them, you bend your body backwards and forwards. One, you bend your body sideways. But you do it very slowly and very mindfully. And that was how I got started in Qigong. And so it was just setting aside... My story was that I only had a bath in my flat in London. I didn't have a shower. So I'd have to wait for the bath to run before I went to work. If I went back to bed, the flat would flood, And so I had to stay awake and stay up. And so I started doing these Qigong exercises while my bath was running, just 10 minutes of it, and it changed my life. Absolutely changed my life.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that story. It's wonderful. That's Jeremy's website there, quantumqigong.co.uk. Which video is it that we've got on that you're sharing? Well, you'd like me to share with people?
It's just called warm-ups. I don't know if I think it might be there. No, sorry, it's not actually.
Well, I'll put the link to your YouTube channel anyway, and people can have a little nosy and find that. Look up warm-ups.
Yeah, that's right. So if they just search warm-ups, Jeremy College, they'll find that as well. But
look at you. All this wonderful content here. Fantastic, Jeremy.
Each week I put up a healing class online. And so my healing classes are an hour and a half long, and they're just a standing meditation.
Right. Okay.
And so I do that Wednesday class live, 9:30 in the morning on my website, and it's completely free. or I load it up onto YouTube afterwards. And so now I've got a library of 160 healing classes up there. And each one of them is just about listening to the video, just going inside, letting go of some emotions or seeing some patterns inside you. It's a very sort of simple class and anybody can do it. And it's just a soft, gentle meditation. You can do it sitting down, lying down, standing up, whatever.
Fabulous, fabulous. And will you come back to talk specifically or coach us on and on? I mean, you're here once a month anyway. Can we up the sort of the regularity on that a bit and have a little bit of a squad that might be interested in going into this?
You know I would. I'd be very happy to do that.
Fantastic. Subscribe, Jeremy. Thank you. Sarah might be up for it as well. If a few of us do this of a morning together, that'll be wonderful. Right. Are you happy to stay while Stephen's here? Because I think there's some synergy this morning. Right. Let's give him a nice round of applause and bring Stephen onto the screen. Good morning, Stephen.
Hi. Good morning. Bon dia.
Lovely to see you. Let's sandwich you in between me and Jeremy here on the screen. Look at you, digital serenity for expats. This is turning into quite the oasis of peace this morning. Stephen, thank you for being here. And I think this will come as a possible balm to people's minds. And then let's blend it into what Jeremy's been talking about. But first, a little bit about you. Do I pronounce your name Stephen Shuak?
Close.
Oh,
very close. It's like a hard K at the end, so it's Shuak.
Shuak. Okay, Stephen Shuak is here. And where are you in the world? We met at Josh's house long ago, didn't we? And he told me about this lovely idea of yours. Are you a San Martino man as well?
What's that?
Are you a San Martino man like us two as well?
No, I'm over in Lisbon. I'm in Parque Nações. I've got the Vasco da Gama Bridge right out my window.
What a beautiful place to do Tai Chi or Qigong, for example.
Yeah, they do it quite a bit in the park, actually, on the weekends. See them there all the time.
How wonderful. Now, this new idea, digital serenity for 50 plus expats, most people, and the ones who are on top of this, I think, are the exceptions that prove the rule. The older you get and the more time you spend online, the more of an unholy mess emerges and is created behind the scenes. And you're coming in like the Caped Crusader to tackle that, are you?
I would like to think so, but you're absolutely right. You know, digital complexity increases with age, life changes, life transitions. And certainly when you change borders and maybe live kind of with one foot in two different countries, perhaps, and you really need to simplify. And here's the key: on purpose. It needs to be a systematic overhaul of a simplification process to make your tech life feel like it's integrated into your actual analog life instead of working against you.
Yes, and presumably once you've made that little bit of effort, you're going to feel an incredible sort of peace premium or a because it's a nagging thing, isn't it? And there are so many similarities here, I think, between the physical and mental wish to calm down and unwind. This is the digital version of that. And an increasingly difficult problem, I would have thought, in the world as you describe it. There's, you know, more and more things are going online, and we have this spectre of AI and all sorts of. It's not getting any simpler, if I could just put it simply that way.
It's not getting any simpler, and the fact is it's like its technology has outpaced a lot of good, smart people. And the thing is that no one's really helping them in a way that is customized for them.
Right.
You can watch all the YouTube videos you want. You can try going to an Apple Genius bar. They're not going to help you with. They're going to help you maybe with a specific device issue. But my whole thing is that your messy digital life that you might have isn't a single tech problem. It's a system problem. So it's not about fixing just a single device. It's about fixing the whole experience of integrating and using tech in your day-to-day life.
Beautiful. So there is a personal growth metaphor, of course, here, isn't there?
Absolutely. And I was vibing on what I kind of came in as you guys were talking and was vibing on what Jeremy's saying. I'm part of that whole scene as well.
Are you?
Longevity practitioner. I'm a bit of a minimalist. I've been a nomad for a long time. So I did a Kung Fu retreat once in Thailand for a week. So totally all this stuff works together. And you're right in the sense that when your digital life feels like it's just a pile of flaming chaos,
can relate.
You can feel it inside of you. You know, every time you go to touch your device, you're like, this thing is my enemy. You're doing password resets over and over again. You're getting locked out of accounts. this is the kind of cumulative stress that I'm working to help people completely eliminate and make these devices your friend.
That is wonderful. So mindful digital life, perhaps, because
Yeah.
would you say, I mean, I love the phrase, how you do one thing is how you do everything. I think there's a lot of truth in that. And so if you look at how you use your digital tools, you're going to learn about yourself, aren't you? And you might be blaming the tech bros for all the chaos that is being thrust upon you. Like one of my big beefs as I'm struggling with passwords and two-factor authentication is how much I resent how much time I give up protecting myself from things that never happen. It's a lot of my life, I think. This, so and just to go into my phone as I do many times a day, I've got a few seconds of added security that are, I think, over the top. Except for that one day when I lost my phone, and then it all made sense. But I have this growing resentment, and that can't be good for me. Going back to what Jeremy said, if I pick up my phone without a sense of joy, who's sent me a message today? But like, sodding hell, I've got to. That wasn't the right code. Is this going to be the right code? And airport security, all of this sort of stuff is going on in me. That can't be good for any of us, can it?
Absolutely not. And that's the thing, is that a lot of these things really require kind of doing an overhaul. And it's just, you got to sit down once, ideally with someone who knows what's going on, or, you can try doing it yourself. It's about checking configuration, settings, making things work for you, because a lot of us just assume that the way that a particular device is working, or the way that two devices are working together. So I'm really big on making sure everything is synchronized, that if you do something on your laptop, it's going to show up on your phone, and vice versa. If you have an iPad, whatever it might be, and you want everything to kind of show up and always be synced, so that it feels like it's a continuous, there's a continuity there. Yeah. But for what you're saying, it's really about, and I agree, I'm very good on security. I have high levels of security on all my things. But at the same time, that there are bad actors out in the world, and we do live in a digital world. It's extremely hard to sever yourself from the digital world that we live in.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play in this space where we live digitally and analog, your digital world needs to be tight, needs to be solid, needs to be secure. And that's a huge part of what I work with my clients, is nailing down those passwords with a robust password manager. People think I'm absolutely insane. I could share my screen with you, but I won't. I have 1,014 passwords in my password manager.
You do?
1,014. I only know one password, just the one that gets me into the manager. Every other password is completely automated, generated. It's 15 to 20 characters. I have no idea what they are. So I have a trust in my tech.
Yeah.
Because I know that the system that I set up is robust.
Yes.
And that way, when I'm not on my tech and I'm doing, I don't want to say a detox, but when I'm just not on my tech, I know that it's not piling up against me, and I'm not going to come back to a big mess. It's going to be just the way that I expect it to be.
Oh, 2026 is going to be awesome. We're going to be doing Qigong, and we're going to have a beautiful relationship with our computers. Okay.
I totally agree with Stephen. This is the time of year, Christmas time, when I've got a couple of weeks off when things are not happening, that I go through each of my inboxes and I look at every single email. I sort them by who has sent them, and then suddenly I discover there's 27 emails from my web, master asking me if I want to, from my web provider asking me if I want to, have more upgrades or whatever. And I take my time to unsubscribe and block everything. And then when I start in January, my inbox is actually empty, which is extraordinary for me. I love it. And actually at the moment, my inbox has probably got about 30 emails in it from last year in total. Things that I really want to keep there, and I keep on top of it. So I unsubscribe from everything. I block everything I can. I use a spam manager, and suddenly my inboxes are really, really, quiet and nice, and I don't fear them anymore. And occasionally, when a spam does pop up, it's really noticeable. And you think, how did you get through? What have I just done?
Yeah.
like delete it. And, yeah.
That's an excellent point. Is that feeling that you get, congratulations, by the way. I mean, there's a whole movement of people who it's called Inbox Zero. You probably heard of that, where
Cool.
they try and zero it out every single day. They make sure that it's down to zero. I work with folks who have multiple email addresses. I work with small businesses, and so it's hard to do that. And the email thing is a huge one because I personally hate email, but we live in a world that still depends heavily on it. And so I try to manage that, and having that, I've looked at people's email boxes that have 8,000, 10,000 emails.
I was going to ask you about that.
And they're using it as a holding place. So this is where the systems come in. Email's not really designed. It wasn't meant to be a file storage system. It's actionable. There, if an email comes in, I don't want to get too much into the weeds. If an email comes in and it's got something you need to do, that should go into your task manager. If it's got a file or something like that, should go into your file management system. But holding it in your email inbox just makes it balloon like that, and it makes you feel stressful.
Yeah.
Yes. What does it say about somebody? And I'll keep this anonymous, but I do know people who have 5,000 emails in their inbox, not archived or stored away. They're probably constipated as well, Jeremy, if you look at their digestion.
My next suggestion would be look inside their garage.
Oh, that's getting a bit too personal now. Okay, let's move on. This is wonderful. We've got great comments here. Great tips from you, Jeremy. Mental hygiene for the win. We don't have to pay attention to everything. That's transferable as well, isn't it? For you, Stephen, not being around too many people for longer stretches of time does wonders for my mental hygiene. Good morning from you. A little late on parade. I think Jeremy can probably find you a gentle Qigong program after a total hip replacement. It's probably quite a good idea to do some gentle physio after that. I would have thought.
It's a great rehabilitation skill. So certainly when you're recovering from anything at all, it's a great rehabilitation skill.
Yep. You can't try going to an apple bar, but you can try, but you won't find one. Not a single legitimate apple store in Portugal, apparently.
That's correct. Yep.
All the Adoros, great inputs this morning. We're digitally detoxing these days, partly because of our digital life being a mess. So this is exactly the sort of person you help, Stephen, Bob and Viv there. Portugal's like the Dark Ages. It has more in common with Russia than the rest of Europe. It could be a good thing that we're not as advanced, perhaps. I don't know. With storage space growing in the digital world, people tend to postpone decisions to delete something. Now, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And that makes things worse. Attachment. I mean, literally having attachments. Yeah. There are so many lovely parallels here, aren't there? So it could be a digital talk, it could be a spiritual talk. But if you, I better keep that. That's when it starts getting very messy, right, Stephen? If people are
with
not sure
the fact that we have almost, if you want unlimited storage space,
yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'm a bit of a minimalist. 10 years ago, I left the States and got rid of everything that I owned. I had a suburban house outside of in Portland, Oregon, and I dismantled my house piece by piece and ended up with carry-on luggage that I went around the world with for 7 years, and that was a very, very powerful process to literally do the thing, Marie Kondo, like look at this thing and say, does this serve you? And then you put it away. And it's even more at scale when you're talking about the digital world. When you have, like, I have high numbers on a lot of my things. I have 80,000 photos, but I'm an amateur photographer. And so do I probably need all of them? No, but have I isolated my best photos into a special folder that says, edited and published? Then I can isolate those best 2,000 and show someone? Absolutely. So it's really about cutting down on the volume and knowing when to parse and cut. Yeah. But if you're going to keep, then you need a system that you can find it in 30 seconds or less. That's always a
very good. Okay.
I have 80,000 photos, but if I want to try and find something and show somebody, the test is, if we're talking about something and I'm having a coffee and something comes up and like, oh, what about this in Cambodia? If I can't find that photo in less than 30 seconds, something's wrong with my system.
What a great test of your system. Now, this is not becoming a Marie Kondo poster child. This is about managing what you've got, isn't it? As reading between the lines here. Absolutely. So I know there's a movement, not necessarily about, there's digital detoxing, but and it makes sense to me, but I wouldn't want to detox
when I know that my digital world is a burning trash can of a mess. Like, how
Yes.
can you detox how can you go away from something when the thing that you're going to go away with is a complete mess? Like, that's how you're going to relax. So I'm
Yeah.
all about, I'm fine with people taking a digital detox, but I'm talking about everyday life, making you and your devices good buddies and friends, and everybody's working together. And when it's time to put the devices away, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not pinging and dinging and zinging, because notification control is such a simple thing that you can handle, that you can deal with, that
Yes.
just reduces your anxiety so much by
Oh.
just managing the notifications.
It feels, just that last bit that you said is just a relief in its own right there, Stephen. How do people get in touch with you and take advantage of your audit?
I've got my website. It's just my last name, shiwak.com.
Right,
and
cool.
I'm not real big on social media, actually. These are some of the places where I'm cutting my connections to the digital world. So right now it's just me and my website, and helping people try and really get a sense of unification between their analog and their digital life.
I'd love to have you both back. I mean, Jeremy, I think you're a regular anyway, but we'll up the pace a little bit for the new year, Jeremy. Stephen, will you come back and maybe just
absolutely? I would
have
love
the email
to.
conversation. Oh, fantastic! It's been lovely to chat to you about this morning. Pinging and dinging and zinging. Just a couple more comments. I know we're over time, but look. Oh lol! I've just checked my emails and I have 29,000 plus. I'll wait for a call if it's urgent. Now that, and I totally take on board your point, Stephen. Digital detoxing by throwing your devices in the river doesn't deal with the problem, does it? It just gives you it gives you an hour's grace or peace until you
then you come back to X factor more notifications and things that are a mess. Like,
absolutely. And this is the kind of but point that you will get with both of what you're talking about, I think. Interesting. My dad smoked, drank, and had 80% war injuries. He lived till he was 100, but never had a computer. Now, we admire people like that. However, he might have lived to 120 if he hadn't smoked and drunk alcohol. We will never know for sure, says Matty on that. Perhaps a final word from both of you then as we conclude today, and look forward to your company again. Stephen, please go ahead. I think you had something to add to that.
I was just going to say that I'm going to go see my mother-in-law today. We're leaving to go to the Algarve. My wife is Portuguese.
Cool.
And so we're going to be in Olhão for the next few days. And she has never been on a computer in her entire life, my mother-in-law.
Wonderful.
So to what that comment just said,
yes.
And I think, but her life is restricted to a certain extent. There are certain things the digital world presses so deeply on us that it's hard to avoid it. And so simple things my wife has to take care of for her that relate to, accounts and things like that. And so my point is that, yes, you don't need to be on a computer. But if you are going to be on one, and you're going to be on your phone, you're going to have those things in your life, please make them your friend. Don't have them be your enemy. And if you don't know how to do it, then that's when you need to talk to somebody, whether it's me or someone else. Really, it's just about getting help, because you gotta look at the forest from the trees and figure out what's what and what's important in your life, so you can have the time to do the qigong on the river and relax and take care of your body while your digital life is not on fire.
How wonderful. And do the right thing. Buy her an iPad. She's got you, your wife, and you as backup. She's got the dream team on the tech if she makes the entry into the digital world. But I think at the same time, it might be nice that she remains kind of Amish about all of this as well.
Yeah, it's wild, though, to know someone in my own personal life who's on such the other side of the spectrum,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
wild.
She's like your, your what's it called in a research trail? She's your other group.
My control,
Your control group, mother-in-law. Mother-in-laws and control groups. That's an uncomfortable connection there. But thank you, Stephen, very much indeed. Last word from you,
so
Jeremy.
Welcome. Both bestas, everyone. Bom Ano, Merry Christmas, Feliz Natal.
Wonderful, wonderful. What about you, Jeremy? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that everything Stephen was saying, from Chinese medicine perspective, everything is about balance. It's always about finding the middle road, balance in your life. not too far this way, not too far that way, not too high, not too low. And I think that's, exactly the thing. We live in a digital world now. We have to, accept that is the case. And so keeping it to, its bare minimum, keeping it to its lowest stress possible is ideal. But you can't avoid it. It's just is there. So you better manage it well. And I think that's the whole point, is that when people just don't look at it, it spins out of control. And so you have to give enough time to actually just, look after your digital world as you would look after your other world as well, as you look after yourself. So I'm totally with Stephen. I've spent 15 years working in a tech company. So I'm also, my life is exactly like Stephen says, that I've done all of that. And my phone doesn't go ping and pong, and I don't get 1,000 emails. And I think that's really important. And that's another thing that leaves me feeling calm every single day. I don't worry about what's going to arrive. I don't worry. I know I have everything in place. And so I think it's a really healthy idea. Look after your digital life just as well as you look after your normal life, as it were.
And these gentlemen here, great show, great guests, I feel inspired, are here to help with this as well. It's not like they're here on boasting about how brilliantly they're doing with their digital worlds and managing their chi. They're here offering help with these things, so you too can enjoy that sort of peace and freedom that we've got a taste of this morning. So I thank you both and look forward to your company in the new year. Great to see you again, Stephen. Thank you for sharing what you've shared this morning. And Jeremy, great Christmas to you, wherever you end up next on your world tour. And we'll see you in the new year. Boas festas, Feliz Ano Novo, and we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Jeremy. Take care. Bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to